Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to be, we're going to be going over some significant severe weather that is expected over the next 3 days, excluding this one. Uh, so today, looking at the main page, we have a lot of things going on. We have, if you look at the main page, you have uh, a an enhanced risk of severe weather. That's the orange region for southeast Oklahoma, southwest Arkansas, northwest Louisiana, and northeast Texas. We also have a slight risk extending from southern Oklahoma to northeast and eastern Texas to northern and central Louisiana, central and southwest Mississippi, and southern Arkansas, and a marginal risk extending from southern Oklahoma to uh, uh, central and eastern Kansas, to southern Louisiana, to the rest of Mississippi, to western Alabama, to extreme southern and southwestern Tennessee, to central Arkansas. We also have three other marginal risks. A marginal risk on the Mexico border. We also have a marginal risk in Nebraska, and a marginal risk from Ohio to Kentucky to Indiana to Michigan, Detroit, and Ontario. And we also have a general thunderstorm risk extending other places elsewhere. Uh, so, as you can see, looking down here at the hazards risk, Friday, today, we have an enhanced risk of severe weather, which is what I just said. Tomorrow, we have an enhanced risk of severe weather. Sunday, we have an enhanced risk of severe weather. And Monday, we have an enhanced risk equivalent of severe weather. That's an enhanced risk equivalent. So, Not not an enhanced risk per se, not yet, but pretty soon. Uh, Pretty soon we will likely have an enhanced risk. Well, we will have an enhanced risk. It's not likely, it's definite. So severe weather is actually ongoing right now. There are a couple of supercells producing some tornado warnings. They have some rotation within them. So there's also a tornado watch and mesoscale discussions out. So I'm not necessarily going to be reading the description. I'm just going to be generally covering the outlook, the tornado risk, wind risk, and hail risk. And that's usually what I do when severe weather does occur. I cover a specific portion. Actually, since it's the 20Z update, I'll read the 20Z Outlook update, but I won't read the actual description of the 1630Z Outlook because it's 1630Z or 1630 UTC, and that gets issued, and then the 2000 UTC Outlook gets issued separately, and the 2000 UTC just basically updates the 1630 UTC by just putting a little update paragraph like 20Z update. And then, the update is concluded, then you have 1630Z information. Uh, so, uh, like I said, we have four marginal risks in total. Uh, some are spread out everywhere, some are tightly packed together. Uh, Again, this is the main page. The tornado risk. There's a 5% hatched risk of tornadoes. So remember how I said that there wasn't really going to be a lot of tornadoes? Well, I stood corrected because the tornado threat is now a hatched, which means that significant, potentially EF2 plus tornadoes are very likely going to appear today. We also have a 5% risk of tornadoes and a 2% risk of tornadoes. The 5% risk of tornadoes goes from southeast Oklahoma to northeast Texas to southern Arkansas to northern Louisiana to central-ish Mississippi and southwestern-ish Mississippi. And then the 2% goes from southern Oklahoma to northeast and east Texas to central and central southern Louisiana to central and southwestern Mississippi to extreme portions of western Alabama into Arkansas. That's it. And then the 5% hatched risk, or I should say the hatched risk, just the stippled region extends from uh, southeast Oklahoma to northeast Texas to northern Louisiana to extreme western portions of Mississippi into southern Arkansas. So potential EF2 plus tornadoes are likely today in that region. The 5% hatched, especially in the border with dashed black lines. So please be careful. If you live in the DFW metro, Dallas, Arlington, Plano, Garland, and Shreveport, Louisiana today, and also Jackson, Tyler, Texas, Longview, and Bossier City, if that's how you pronounce it. Uh, and also in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, there's a 2% risk of tornadoes. So please be very careful if you live in any of those cities that are at the bottom of your screen where it says some larger population centers in the risk area. Alrighty, so for wind is not that impressive. It's only a 15% unhatched risk of severe weather, or severe winds. Um, Nothing really is going to be too severe, to be quite honest. There's just a 15% risk of wind extending from southeast Oklahoma to northeast Texas to southern Arkansas to northern and central Louisiana to central and southwest Mississippi to extreme portions of western Alabama, then a 5% risk extending from, southern Oklahoma to northeast and east central Texas, uh, to southern Louisiana to the entire state of Mississippi to western Alabama, and then, really Nebraska, and then the Ohio Valley, Great Lakes region. Uh, but then the hail risk. You see, this is where it gets pretty concerning because we now have a 45% hatched risk of hail. You could see 45%. It's in the pink, the fluorescent pink. It also is under a SIG 1, conditional intensity group 1. That 45% goes from extreme southeast Oklahoma to extreme northeast Texas to extreme southwest Arkansas. And then the 30% risk goes from southeast Oklahoma to southwest Arkansas to northwest Louisiana to northeast Texas. The 15% region, or the yellow, the 30% was the red, the 15% is the yellow. The 15% goes from southeast Oklahoma to northeast and east Texas to northern and central Louisiana, extreme portions of western Mississippi, and southwest Arkansas and southern Arkansas. And then the 5% risk. The Storm Prediction Center frequently refreshes outlooks, and I keep it on just because I think it's very important, but sometimes it does get a little bit of a nuisance. I'm not going to turn it off, however, because it's pretty helpful, in my opinion. Then the 5% risk area goes from southern Oklahoma to northeast, eastern, and central-ish Texas, and maybe a little bit of south central Texas, into southern and eastern and southeastern Louisiana, well, not really southeastern, but eastern, southern, southwestern Louisiana. That's what I meant to say. To most of Mississippi, and it stops at the Mississippi-Alabama state border, to central Arkansas, and that's really it. And there's also a hatched region, a boundary with black dashed lines that extend from southern Oklahoma to southwest Arkansas to northwest Louisiana into northeastern, eastern, and east central, and kind of south central Texas. We also have a 5% hatched risk of hail at the Mexico border, so that's always very nice. So some cities that are in the 45% are Texarkana, Texas, and Texarkana, Arkansas, Paris, Texas, and Mount Pleasant, Texas, which is cool in a sarcastic way, of course. So, for today, just recap. For today, expect some tornadoes, potentially EF2 plus, very large hail, and some potential damaging winds. So, yeah. Now, tomorrow's risk, same thing basically. 5% hatched risk of tornadoes. Well, but this time a 30% risk of wind and a 30% risk of hail. So, let's go back. Let's recap. To here, we have this is for tomorrow. This is for Saturday. We have an enhanced risk of severe weather stemming from extreme southern Kansas to central and eastern and kind of northeastern Oklahoma into western Arkansas. Then we have a slight risk extending from central and north central Kansas to southwest Missouri to central and western Arkansas to northwest Louisiana into northeast Texas and central in western Oklahoma. And then the marginal risk, it goes from southern and southeast Nebraska to Kansas to Missouri to Arkansas to a little bit of western Mississippi to northern Louisiana into Texas, northeast, central, and southwest, central and southern Texas, including the Mexico border, the Texas Panhandle, the Oklahoma Panhandle, and that's it. Again, you could always see the risk levels over here. So if you're not sure, oh, is the red, like, what color is the red? Like, if there was one, like, oh, what color is the orange? Well, they're always going to be over here. They're always going to be on the side. If you're looking at specifically the categorical outlook, you could always see the risk levels over on the southeast corner of the screen. Uh, for people who don't know what I'm really saying, the bottom right-hand corner of the screen is where the risk levels will always be. So if you really are wondering, oh, what does this mean? Oh, I'm really curious what this means. Well, it's on the bottom right-hand corner. Uh, I'm not sure if that changes. I don't really think that does change depending on the device you have, but I think universally it's always going to be in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Uh, so if you live in Tulsa, Broken Arrow, Fort Smith, Edmond, or Midwest City, Oklahoma, you need to get yourself prepared for severe weather. Now, this is unfortunate that Oklahoma is experiencing severe weather again because yesterday Oklahoma just suffered major tornado damage from a tornado that went through the Vance Air Force Base and Enid Woodring Municipal Airport yesterday. It was absolutely terrible footage. I saw the tornado destroy it live. I saw it on radar and in through Storm Chaser feed and stream feed. It was terrible. And the damage photos, the aftermath was absolutely cataclysmic, absolutely unbearably terrible. And so I really pray and hope that nobody has died from the tornado that happened yesterday, plus other attendant tornadoes that spawned from the same system. Uh, I really don't want that to happen. Oh God. Oh God. I looked at Wikipedia. Now, obviously, Wikipedia is not the most verifiable source. However, it does say that we have our first EF4 tornado of the year. Preliminarily, which means that, things could change. But yeah, it's not good. It's definitely just not good. It's horrible. It's horrible. Uh, so we gotta pray for everybody, pray for everyone's recovery. Low end EF4 damage. So yeah. Well, that's tragic. 16 tornadoes occurred on the 22nd. Uh, Actually, the 23rd, not the 22nd. But I mean, April 22nd through the 23rd was, yeah. So, anyway, to the tornado risk for tomorrow, we have a 5% hatched risk of severe weather from southeast Oklahoma to southwest Arkansas to northwest Louisiana to northeast Texas. We have a hatched risk from central and northern Oklahoma to southwest Arkansas to northwest Louisiana to northeast Texas. I also just forgot that I was supposed to read the 20Z updates, but I actually forgot, so I'm just not going to really read it because I really want to make this video as quick as possible. We got stuff to do, things to do, so trying to make this as quickly, short and sweet as possible. But if y'all know me, I'm a talker, especially when it comes to severe weather, so. And then we have a 2% risk of severe weather extending from central, God, central Kansas to central and eastern Oklahoma, excluding the Oklahoman Panhandle, to central and southwest Arkansas and southern and western Arkansas, to northern and kind of north central Louisiana, and then northeast Texas, and then east central-ish and central Texas, and protruding into the Texas hill country or big country, whatever. Also, a little bit of southwest Missouri is in the 2%. The wind risk, we have a 30% risk of wind extending from or I should say, eastern Oklahoma to western Arkansas. That's the red there. A 15% risk extending from southern Kansas all the way to western and central Arkansas to northwest Louisiana to northeast Texas to central and eastern Oklahoma. Then the 5% extending from Nebraska all the way down to the Mexico border and the Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas tri-state conjunction. So very wonderful. And then we have a 30% risk of hail that's hatched in a stippled region, extending. This is actually what's perpetuating the enhanced risk. So notice how the enhanced risk is the same. The risk zones are basically the same. That's because the hail risk is perpetuating this risk. They're basically the same. So the 30% is actually the orange, 15% is the yellow, and the 5% is the green, the brown, the green. They both correlate if you understand what I'm saying. And then the hatched risk goes from southern Kansas to southwest Missouri to most of Oklahoma, excluding the western portion, to western Arkansas, to northwest Louisiana, to northeast Texas, and then to central Texas and southwest-ish Texas. It's more so southern Texas. Stops at the Mexico border. Yeah, so now we could finally start to read the descriptions instead of me just not necessarily preliminarily, but you know what I mean. Preliminarily reading over the parameters. So, summary. Severe thunderstorms with a risk for large to very large hail, damaging wind gusts, and a few tornadoes are possible across parts of the southeastern Great Plains into the Ark-La-Tex, primarily Saturday afternoon and evening. Synopsis. A deep mid to upper level flow is forecast to remain nearly stationary over the Canadian Prairie region on Saturday. This low will continue to anchor a large-scale mid to upper trough covering much of the western and central contiguous United States through the period. A shortwave trough initially off the southern coast of California will move east-northeastward towards the southwest by Sunday morning. Downstream of this system, a low-amplitude mid-level shortwave trough may emerge from the southern Rockies and begin to impinge upon a moist and unstable environment across the south-central plains by the afternoon. At the surface, a surface low is forecast to gradually deepen across the Texas Panhandle through the day, with a dry line extending southward from this low into parts of west-central and southwest Texas. As outflow-induced surface boundaries will initially extend east-southeast of the low into parts of the southeast. An outflow-induced surface boundary will initially extend east-southeast of the low into parts of the southeast. That makes more sense. This boundary is forecast to move northward as a warm front through the day across parts of Oklahoma and North Texas into the Ark-La-Tex region. Alrighty. Southern and central plains into the Ark-La-Tex. Relatively steep lapse rates atop a richly moist boundary layer will result in moderate to strong destabilization along and east of the dry line and near and south of the effective warm front. Details of diurnal storm development and coverage remain unclear, but at least isolated thunderstorm development will be possible near or just to the cool side of the effective warm front by the late afternoon, as the approaching low-amplitude mid-level shortwave trough glances the stronger instability. Initial storms over eastern Kansas and Oklahoma may be somewhat elevated, but surface-based convection may eventually develop near the warm front/dry line intersection and expand in coverage into the evening. Initial supercellular development will pose a threat of large to very large hail and localized damaging wind gusts. Low-level flow and shear will generally remain modest, but large instability and enhanced storm relativisticity near the surface boundary could result in a localized region of greater tornado potential. With time, some upscale growth may result in an organized thunderstorm cluster moving southeast to the Ark-La-Tex and potentially the lower Mississippi Valley along the primary instability gradient. This evolution could be accompanied by increasing damaging wind potential, though embedded supercells may continue to pose a localized hail and tornado threat well into the evening. Development along this dry line across Texas continues to be uncertain since this area will be removed from stronger large-scale ascent. However, strong heating and the removal of convective inhibition could result in isolated supercellular developments with an attendant threat of large to very large hail and a non-zero tornado risk and wind risk. Farther north, a separate area of thunderstorm development is possible from central and northern Kansas into southeast Nebraska. while instability and deep layer flow and shear will generally be weaker with northward extent, cool temperatures aloft and modest mid-level flow could support a threat for isolated hail and strong to damaging winds, with the strongest storms during the afternoon and early evening. We're not really going to read parts of the Southeast into the Carolinas and Virginia. We're really not going to read that. But most of the East Coast, the Southeastern and Mid-Atlantic region will definitely experience their fair share of thunderstorms. So to recap, tomorrow is basically going to be like today, except there is a bigger risk for wind and a little bit of a smaller risk for hail. Still going to be very, I shouldn't say very large, still going to be large hail tomorrow, and more damaging wind gusts are also likely tomorrow. The same tornado threat as what's delineated by the Storm Prediction Center, as what can be delineated by the Storm Prediction Center. So that's tomorrow. This is Sunday. Now, Sunday's risk is it's another enhanced risk. It's another one extending from central, kind of western and eastern Kansas into western Missouri. That's the orange region. Then the yellow region, the slight risk, extends from southern and southeastern Nebraska to southwest Iowa to western Missouri to northeast, northeast or northwest Arkansas to kind of most of Oklahoma, excluding the southwestern and southeastern portions of Oklahoma and the western part of the Oklahoman Panhandle, into northeastern Texas, or I should say the extreme northeastern Panhandle of Texas. That sounds nicer. Into basically almost all of Kansas, except for this western fringe there. And, well, that's really it for the yellow region. Then the green region, the marginal risk, extends from South Dakota to, the plains, the northern plains to the Midwest to the southern plains and kind of southeast a little bit, Dixie Alley. So the whole entire state of Arkansas so far is under a marginal risk. So the whole entire state of Arkansas is expected to get severe weather on Sunday. And also the marginal risk hits the Mexico border as well. Probabilistic outlook, same thing, really 30%, 15%, 5%. However, there is a hatched risk of severe weather, a boundary with dashed lines extending from southern and southeastern Nebraska to western Missouri to almost all of Kansas to a very large portion of Oklahoma besides the eastern part and the Oklahoman Panhandle besides the western Oklahoman Panhandle, and the northeastern Texan Panhandle is in the 5% hatched risk as well. So let's read the description, shall we? Summary. Boy, here we go. Widely scattered severe thunderstorms with the potential to produce large hail and a couple of, quote, strong, end quote, tornadoes are possible by early Sunday evening across parts of the central and southern Great Plains before one or two organizing clusters of thunderstorms spread towards the middle to lower Missouri Valley with potentially damaging wind gusts. Synopsis. A mid to upper level shortwave and attendant jet maximum are forecast to emerge from the large-scale trough across the west and begin to impinge upon a moist and potentially very unstable air mass across parts of the Great Plains on Sunday. A surface low is expected to consolidate and deepen across the south-central high plains during the day and then move towards the lower Missouri Valley by Monday morning. A surface front, whose initial position will be influenced by extensive Friday and Saturday convection, will move northward as a warm front across parts of the Central Plains and the Ozarks. A Pacific front and dry line will extend southward from the surface low through late afternoon, with the northern portion of this boundary expected to push eastward across parts of Kansas and Oklahoma Sunday night. Great Plains. A volatile environment is still expected to develop across parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas Sunday afternoon and evening, with moderate to strong buoyancy and increasing low-level and deep layer shear. However, the signal for diurnal warm sector development remains rather muted in most guidance, with the strongest large-scale ascent and mid-level height falls expected to be displaced north of the stronger instability. Storm coverage through early evening may be maximized across parts of the central high plains in the closer proximity to the ejecting shortwave trough. While low-level moisture will remain relatively modest in this area, backed low-level flow, steep mid-level lapse rates, and moderate buoyancy could support initial supercellular development, with an attendant threat of all severe hazards possible. Storms in this area may consolidate into a mesoscale convective system, resulting in an organized severe threat spreading towards the lower to mid-Missouri Valley late Sunday night. Farther south, the development along the dry line into parts of southern Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas remain more uncertain. If isolated supercells can develop and be sustained within this region, they would be accompanied by a possibly strong threat for tornadoes, very large hail, and localized severe wind gusts. A separate area of nocturnal thunderstorm development will be possible within a warm advection regime from eastern Kansas into the Oklahoma region, the Ozark region. Buoyancy and shear may be sufficient to support some severe threat with the strongest thunderstorms within this regime. Now, lower Mississippi Valley. God, I'm getting my words mixed up. Nocturnal thunderstorms from Saturday, day 2, may persist into Sunday morning across the lower Mississippi Valley, with additional diurnal development possible along the remnant surface boundary. Moderate buoyancy could support a localized severe threat across the region within a modest northwesterly flow regime. So, strong tornadoes are very, very probable on Sunday. I'm not trying to forecast anything, but there probably will be a 10% single hatched risk of tornadoes by tomorrow, and then maybe by day 1, things will definitely change. I shouldn't say definitely, but things probably are going to change. Minor tweaks are going to occur. Then this. What do we do with this? This is concerning. Because if you remember last night, the risk was not so, I shouldn't say last night, but yesterday's risk. Yesterday's risk did not look like this. It did not have a 30% enhanced risk equivalent extending from southern or southwestern Wisconsin to eastern and central Iowa to central and eastern Missouri to northeast Arkansas to northwest Tennessee to western Kentucky to western Indiana. It didn't really look like this. And then there was not a 15% slight risk equivalent extending from southern Wisconsin to, uh, central and western Indiana to west central whatever Kentucky to western Tennessee to northern Mississippi to central northern Arkansas to western Missouri to central and western Iowa and to southern and southeastern Minnesota and southern and kind of central Wisconsin and the Great Lakes. Didn't really look like this. It's a very concerning risk. Unequivocally, it is a very indubitably concerning risk. The Colorado State University Machine Learning Probabilities Model, or CSU MLP, actually painted a 60% contour for day 4, which is very concerning. Now, I really don't know if you trust or believe in the CSU MLP model, but it can be accurate. Definitely can. However, obviously, as newer technology takes over, that probably will become lesser of a model that will be used, but still, it's going to forever remain in our hearts and souls. So, yeah, so this is a very concerning risk, but day 5, day 6, day 7, day 8. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily that severe weather is not in the cards, because severe weather is almost certainly going to be in the cards. It's just that to what extent we don't really know, because there's too much uncertainty and the signal lacks oomph. It lacks that scare signal. It lacks that fear factor. It lacks that. Plus, uncertainty really does everything to a forecast. that you don't want it to do. It takes everything, makes it more convoluted, makes it more impenetrable, and so it's not good. However, we just got to get through everything, then we'll blast through. Discussion. Luckily, there's 2 paragraphs, but I really shouldn't say luckily because that means that a lot of information is consolidated into one. That's never good. Alrighty. Discussion. Latest medium-range model output suggests that a significant shortwave perturbation emerging from the southwest will pivot northeast of the middle to lower Missouri Valley into the upper Great Lakes region Monday through Monday night. It appears that the warm sector of an associated sub-1000 millibar surface cyclone will become characterized by at least moderately large convective available potential energy ahead of the dryland and cold front that will be overspreading much of the middle Mississippi Valley during the afternoon into the evening. In the presence of strong deep layer shear, organized severe thunderstorm activity appears probable. It remains a bit unclear the extent to which sustained supercell development will be maintained as opposed to convection quickly growing upscale into one or more clusters or lines, but there appears at least some potential for a few strong tornadoes in addition to large hail and potentially widespread strong to severe wind gusts. In the wake of this activity into the middle to latter portion of next week, convective potential becomes more unclear as strong flow trends westerly and broadly confluent across and east of the Rockies, between broad mid-level troughing overspreading the northern tier and broad mid-level ridging across the southern tier. Another initially notable shortwave perturbation emerging from the southern mid-latitude and subtropical eastern Pacific is still forecast to progress into the southwest. However, latest model outputs suggest it may become sheared while continuing across and east of the southern Rockies, with only modest to weak cyclogenesis currently forecast along a remnant frontal zone across the southern Great Plains to the southeast. Wow, that was some words I had to say. Lord have mercy. So, to recap, basically. Sorry, I was rubbing my eyeballs. Sorry. Today we have an enhanced risk. We have severe weather that's going on right now. Saturday we have an enhanced risk for tomorrow, with the same threat basically. Strong tornadoes, large hail, damaging winds are expected. Sunday, strong tornadoes, large hail, damaging winds are very possible. Monday, all severe hazards are on the table and will likely be significantly severe. So Monday is an extremely important thing to watch. It really is. So please keep note of Monday. Still uncertainties to be ruled out, like always, but Monday is probably one of the most significant days of this outbreak. We just don't really know. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait everything out. Anyways, that is my severe weather coverage today. Please, everyone, for the love of all that is holy, know what to do when a tornado warning or severe thunderstorm warning comes through. Be responsible, be safe, be vigilant. Do not be these bridge bozos that Ryan Hall calls them, and do not park under overpasses when under a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning for big hail. You shouldn't be driving in severe weather, yes. You gotta get to destinations. However, you are responsible for your own vehicle, and also you are also responsible for the safety of others, because you can put someone else's lives or life at risk. So don't be stupid, don't be an idiot, don't park under overpasses. It's not good, because it's just foolish. You're gonna look like an idiot, especially on the traffic cameras. Like, come on, I've seen a ton of you bridge bozos, and if you know who you are, then great. But just don't be parking under those overpasses. It's not a good thing to do, and it's not a good thing to gloat over. Again, know what to do when a tornado warning comes through or severe thunderstorm warning comes through. Move to a basement or an interior room on the lowest floor of a sturdy building. Avoid windows. If you are outdoors in a mobile home or in a vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter and protect yourself from flying debris. Tornadoes will be tornadoes are extremely difficult to see and confirm at night, so do not wait to see or hear a tornado and take cover immediately once you get put under that tornado warning. That's really that's all I have to say. So I will see you all in the next one. Have a wonderful day, everybody.